Greetings, dear Source Sisters. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. You would think after this time and as many channels as we've given that the minutiae of the island continent of Lemuria would have been exhausted. It never will be. So many of you carry in your Akash energies of remembrance. I want to tell you about something you might remember. Because you're dealing with sound today, vibrations in the air that carry harmonies and beauty. We told you something several times in channel and also to others in channel about a sound you will never forget. I want you to put yourself yet again on this tropical island, this mountain called Lemuria. For some of you, that's not difficult right now because of the weather outside. To envision perhaps yourself on the beach with the trade winds blowing. The camaraderie of the women was not just for the women. It's difficult for me to tell you. You had to be there. You have to understand the society. A society where the men and the women truly understand the roles that each other play to such a degree that there is so much respect. The men would not have what they have without the women, and the women would not without the men. In that society, as simple as it was, we have told you and others about the haunting sound that a star mother can make. It's one thing to know they're there, to have them often retreat to the top of the mountain and not see them until the next teaching session. They're not really aloof. They're very, very loving, very approachable. They're mothers. But I'll tell you, when they open their mouth to sing, there's nothing like it. There's no sound on the planet like it. None. These women from the stars were anatomically different in the area of the vocal cords. A split vocal cord allowing them to give two notes at the same time. They could actually sing certain spaces of harmonies with themselves. And when they sang, it was mesmerizing. Not all of you were birthed by a star mother. And if you understand how it worked, many were. And some of you were then birthed by those. But all of you got to hear them sing. Some who were first generation, like Mele'ha, have it etched in their Akash. It's something that she cannot duplicate, even to you. She cannot really tell you, even if she could remember, what it sounds like. But I want to tell you what the women did that I have not discussed before. Music passes through the veil like humor does, like compassion does, like other beautiful things. And so sometimes the music that you would hear, the vibrations that you would sing, come directly from the other side, truly. Music was so important to the Pleiadians. And if you could hear them sing in Mass, that's something for the stars. But I'll tell you something. They used to do this for you. 2 or 3 of them perhaps would sing a duet or a trio. And that's something that goes right to your heart. And so what the ladies would do is they would try to emulate it by having some of the ladies take one of the parts of the vibration harmonies and some of the ladies another. And so by having 2 women or more, you could then emulate one Star Mother's vocal cord. What do Lemurians do for entertainment? Where would you go? There was time. It was beautiful. We have discussed some of the ceremonies and some of the things, but the music, not really. We really haven't talked about, other than the choruses, we really haven't talked about it. I'll tell you something that the men just really adored. It's something that's etched in their Akash. The women would have ceremonies. They were performances where they would sing in Mass, in group, certain harmonies and songs that they knew so well. Songs of the ocean, songs of the sea. And they would be emulating the Star Mothers when they did it. And the men would be the audience. The men would arrive and gather way before the performance time just to get the best seats so they could hear it. There is an Akash for the men. Remember, in the system of the Akash, genders switch. And along the way, the men become the women and the women become the men, and everyone gets a turn, dear ones, including the women here. Just to tell you this, that it's not just the women who have the memory at this moment on the planet of these beautiful, beautiful tones. Listening to the ladies in Mass sing to the men. And if you were a woman and you were performing, just listening to what you were doing, emulating the Star Mothers, put you in a euphoric state of peace. Then you begin to realize the whole reason that the Star Mother sang to you in the way she did was to create a feeling of self-worth. You were fine as long as you could hear that song. The Star Mothers knew this, dear ones. They've known this for generations. They practiced it on their children and their children's children as Pleiadians. They knew how the tones together would soothe the soul of anyone listening, put them to sleep, give them self-worth and peace. I cannot emulate this for you. But what I can do is remind you of it and have you visualize it, hear it perhaps, even in the ethers right now. And here's the reason. You got a tool in that remembrance. A tool that makes everything all right. No matter what's going on in your life right now, I want you to visualize and listen with me to an angelic chorus, if you want to. You know, when you think about angelic choruses, they're always women. Always. The most beautiful sound of singing is always women. Always women. They are the mothers singing together. Choruses that interweave in such beautiful, soothing harmonies with the timbre of the mother, Pleiadian. I want you to think right now that you may be able to call that up. Because if you can even begin to go there, you have a tool beyond just breathing. a remembrance that not everyone can have, that will take you right to the sweetest place you have ever been, where everything is all right. Right now, there is nothing that can interrupt that coherence of that song and that singing. And dear ones, anytime there is anything that will trouble your heart, as the shaman that you are, you can go to that place and you can hear it singing to you in a way, indeed, that's off-worldly, that few really have ever heard, that sticks in your akash, and you can sit and say, all is well with me. It's a tool. It's a practical tool that the women here can use for themselves, on themselves. In the times that are frustrating for you or worrisome for you, is it possible that you can recall it in a multidimensional way? Not to sing along with it, but to sit and enjoy. Let the tears roll as you recall something that is so precious that it actually changes everything around you. That's the power of the Pleiadian music. And some of you heard it. Let this day call forward the potential of pulling this out, not with your ears, but with your mind filled with the harmonies and the sonorities of a sound that is so meaningful and so peaceful and will get you from day to day. Can you see how the men wanted to be in the front seat? What a treat. Didn't do it often. But when you did, in the cycles of the sun, on purpose, they knew it was coming. And they all wanted to sit and enjoy what you had, for they felt it as well. You have this tool, shaman, for yourself, and it emanates to others when you feel it and enjoy it. And they may say to you, what is it with you? Where have you gone all of a sudden? And you'll say, be quiet. I'm listening. Be quiet. I'm listening. And so it is.